Charlie, how are we doing?
Not bad, Patrick. How are you?
Oh, buddy. Well, I survived Christmas and New Year's, so I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, I can't wait till next week till things are back to normal. Feel like everything just shuts down, slows down, and nobody does anything for 3 weeks. But
I think I started getting trained for this while I was in like grad school because the universities they shut down for Christmas break, like for school, right?
yeah,
Well, all professors take that opportunity to also just not do shit. So basically, from like December 14th to January 6th, I just have nothing to do for the school, which is fantastic.
yeah, I know. I was talking to Jurgen over in Europe, and he's like, "Yeah, the lab's closed for like 3 weeks, so I can't do anything." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "You don't have a lab built on your property? Like that's
Oh
not
yeah,
normal.
weird. Yeah,
That's
not
not
everybody has
normal."
that, Charlie. Yeah.
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 But the bad thing is that no matter what day it is, New Year's Day, Christmas Eve, I could just walk up here and work. So,
Yeah.
and you feel bad not doing it. So you wind up just doing it.
Isn't the guilt like that you feel from not working the worst? Like it really, I feel like drives so much of my life at this point.
Like if I'm sitting on the couch and it's like 10 o'clock, I'm like, man, I could go up there and I could bang out 50 sheds right now and still be in bed by like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why am I still sitting here? Then I realized I did that for like a year and felt like I was dying. So,
Yeah. It's like you're kind of neglecting the family. You
yeah,
notice that the wife has given the grocery boy a little bit longer stares, and just really
yeah, yeah,
starting to really reevaluate what your decisions were at this point.
yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to not spend as much time in the lab, but it's not really working out too well because
Yeah,
I
I
still
mean,
feel
you
like
heard it
I'm.
here first, guys. Don't send sheds to Charlie anymore.
Yes,
Apparently, he's
please. There's
overworked.
other places to go. Um,
Are there though?
no,
Are there?
yeah, I mean, with that being said, it has not slowed down one bit. And I
Yeah,
apologize for not having like tons of new tests out this last. I feel like I should have tons of stuff going on, cut
I
releasing
think.
it, but
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
just not.
we'll look at that list here in a minute. I think we've got. I mean, we've got 34 tests already, so that's a
Right.
solid start.
Yeah.
Then there's another 7 or so in validation, and then another 7 that are actually in research. So yeah, we're doing okay. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Thank you,
There you
Chris. Yeah. So we can jump right into this. So right now in production, which are tests that you can go and purchase right now on shedtesting.com or by emailing Charlie if
go.
you
No,
have
we
a
put
crack.
Monsoon down there. That should be in
I thought you said
between
we did
research.
have production.
That should be in between research and validation, I guess.
You told me specifically add it to production, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay, so Monsoon's not technically in production, guys, but
Yeah. It's,
message Charlie if you have questions about it.
yeah. I mean, it's just, we can't release that yet. It's just too expensive of a mutation. And because we know it's not right. We clearly had two non-visuals test as visual.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing when you say it's not right. And maybe next time we can talk more about Monsoon specifically because we have some
Yeah.
other cool tests to talk about tonight. But with Monsoon, while it's technically not right, it is a super highly correlated biomarker.
Right.
And so it's that kind of balance, right? Of
Yeah.
you use it because it's good enough, but
Yeah.
there needs to be a very clear understanding that don't sell this shit,
No.
like use it
No.
for your own purposes
That's
and
it.
that's it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, okay. So aside from Monsoon, we've got 33 tests that you can currently get from Charlie on his website.
Mm-hmm.
Right now in our so for those who are wondering kind of the labels and production means basically that's out there. It's available for people to actually use. Validation means it's gone through the research steps. We have what we believe are viable targets, and we're essentially validating those targets to confirm that the test actually does what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first step is research, which is essentially we're still either trying to gather sheds or sheds have been sent out for sequencing, and we're trying to actually find targets that we can then validate. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of where we're at right now. So for validation, we've got Head-Red-Xanthic, Barnhart, Black Pastel, Disco, and Huffman.
So
Those
those
4
four,
specifically are
yeah,
done,
yeah,
right?
they're done.
just setting them up for the new system that you have.
Yeah. So I'm not even releasing stuff yet until it's on my new system. Like stuff that I've had prior that I've had to move over to the new system. You know, there's still a few things that I still have to do my old way just because I haven't had time to just pause and move them over. So I don't want to get into that again because I know I'll just get lazy and just leave them on the old system. So I'm not releasing anything until it's working on the new system that I've been using now for, I don't know, 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's just getting pretty much validated for the new system.
Perfect. So that's good. For paint, I think we're in a moderately similar situation to Monsoon. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Very highly correlated. So we thought we had the test. Everything was looking great. We actually, at our last pop-up show, we're going to announce that we had the test.
Yeah.
And then that literally an hour before the show, I get a text from Charlie saying that we got a miss.
Yeah.
And so now it's looking.
And that one wasn't even a bad miss because we're not sure. That was the one where we're pretty sure, even by looking at the snake, because it was a leopard that tested for het paint. And the guy didn't think, but he didn't know. He's like, I bought it years ago, whatever. He had no lineage of the snake or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I have pictures of it, and I have a leopard het paint. And it has that like sheen to it, like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not worried about that one. I'm worried about one I just did the other day now that it's clearly not a visual, and it came back as a visual.
Gotcha.
So
all right. So it's still not. So it's whatever biomarker there is still actually identifying paint. It just unfortunately called it a homozygous instead of a het, which is not the end of the world at all. But it does mean kind of
with paint. It's a little bit harder than Monsoon. Monsoon, it's pretty hard to, screw up a visual Monsoon unless it's obviously a white snake. But
paint's a little different.
Paint's a little bit different with certain things because there's definitely some people that think that paint is not a recessive, and
I would agree, but that's fine. I also don't think
probably be one of them.
I don't think most ball pythons are recessive, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. So that one, and that's the thing too. I got to make sure that shed now was the actual shed that was sent to me is the right snake because the breeder has a lot of visual paints in his collection. So he's gonna scale clip and resend me everything, and
good.
We'll go from there. But in that area as well are a lot of other well-known genes that do color pigment mutations in other animals. So we're right there. If it's not it, then we're very close.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So that one, we don't have a timeline right now. We'll probably be talking about it on next month's show. So just and then if for some reason something comes up, we'll do a pop-up. But realistically, I think next month is when we're
because honestly, number 6 is probably going to take up most of my time over the next week or two. But
so
let's number 7. So number 7, before we get into lace, TSK, we believe we have the TSK mutation. Again, this is one thing that me and Jürgen, I sequenced these a while ago. We've had the data for a long time. Didn't really do much with it at first because we were just so busy with other stuff. And just recently, I think it was Heather Rothy up in Canada. She was like, hey, I was looking more at TSK and I think this is it. She only had a few of them to test and they worked. So that's the problem right now. A lot of it's being put on me to validate right now because 1, I have access to the most sheds, and 2, my lab is 200 feet from my house.
Yeah, it's not shut down currently.
Right. Yeah. So that one, once I get some time, I'm going to do some validation on TSK because I have plenty of TSK sheds.
Perfect.
Okay. Then, lace.
All right. So that's good. Real fast, because I think we're going to spend most of this episode talking about lace. Let's jump to research real fast. So for Bang, Orange Dream, and Monarch, the data has been received. Now we just got to look at SNPs, which are as we
Monarch. Heather believes she's might have the SNP for that.
Okay, perfect.
And OD, I just received new prime because we tried one that we thought was going to be good a long time ago, and it didn't pan out. And that was another one that I guess I should have cared more about it because I get asked about it all the time. But I ordered primers for 2 different hits that we have for OD. I have them on hand, so I should be running some of them soon.
Okay.
Bang, we got close on the first shot, but it just Bang is another, like we talked about last time. It's another one of those genes that it's hard.
It's not diverse yet,
and it's not diverse, and it's hard to ID. So I do have another set. Actually, I might have 2 sets of primers for Bang that I'm going to try. Okay. And then Mandarin and Red Stripe, those sheds are. I would have liked to have some more Mandarin sheds, but I'm just going with what I had. Well, Super Mandarin. I have plenty of Mandarin sheds, but
right. But
definitely
I think that's
Super Mandarins.
Yeah, you need the supers.
So those and Red Stripe are en route to the lab for whole genome sequencing.
Yep.
Tri-Stripe, I have a decent amount, but I had a couple people tell me recently that they're sending them in summer in the mail, and the mail has been slow as anything this last 3-4 weeks. So I'm giving Tri-Stripe another week or 2 to see if I get a few more visual Tri-Stripe sheds in. It's just that people always ask, how many can you do it with? You could do it with 1, but that just adds a lot more time on the research side of it. So if I have 20 to 30 visual Tri-Stripe sheds, it's gonna give me so much better data than having 5.
I always tell people 24. That's the number that, because for those who don't know, when we work on our plates, right, a lot of times it's either 96 well plates or 48 well plates. Yeah. And so it's always those segments, right? So 24 is, 1/4 of the plate. Mm-hmm. And so it was always we have these kind of random numbers we work with. It's 24 is the number. And it's not that specifically actually is the number, because you're right. It's somewhere between 20 and 30 is ideal. 24. Yeah. All right. So Bang, Orange Dream, and Monarch potentially, and these are going to be loose numbers, guys, potentially within the next 2 months. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah. Mandarin, Monarch is sooner than that.
Hopefully, but I think realistically, we can. Yeah. We're going to be talking about these definitely at least until the next.
Because even when we get it, then it's going to be when
validation,
I have to validate everything.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Mandarin and Red Stripe, that's probably best case scenario 3 to 4 months out. Yeah. And then Tri-Stripe is
probably the same. It's honestly, the lab is pretty quick when I send out for whole genome sequencing. They told me, I remember the first time I did it, they're like, oh, it could be 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. It's always a couple of weeks and I get the data back. So it really all depends on how good the data is when we get it back.
Sure. So, so for the research side, guys, just we'll keep updating, but I think realistically, best case scenario for a lot of this stuff, is a month to 4 months. Yeah. So, we're getting there, and like I said, that also comes down to a hit. We've talked about this before, where sometimes you think you have a hit. Monsoon is the perfect one. I mean, probably 3 months ago we thought we had it, and it's just it's been a booger bear. So, all right, Lace. Chris, you can pull this down now because now the rest of the show is just our beautiful face. Thank you, sir. All right, so Lace. Oh, buddy.
We've learned a lot, huh?
Buddy. I want to start with one of the favorite messages I've gotten through this whole process was Charlie just sends me a picture of a fish and he says, this fish has a mutation in the same gene as Lace. And my immediate response was, well, we found the gene of interest because it was a desert ghost looking fish. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool when science lines up that way. Yeah. So I'm comfortable saying at this point, I think we have it. More so than I know we talked about loosely on the pop-up, and I think it's here, bud. I think this is it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to keep convincing me, and you keep convincing me every time I send you a picture of a shed. I'm like, hey, this one tested negative. Or I don't even say that. I send you a picture and I just do Lace ? Obviously not. Why? What did it test at? It didn't test Lace. Okay, good. Keep going. I'm like, you sure? Yes, it's not Lace.
I'm always paranoid you're gonna send me a picture and I'm gonna be like, that is absolutely not Lace, and you're like, it is Lace, and I'm gonna be like, damn it. Okay, well,
that hasn't
back
happened
to the drawing
yet,
board.
So
we talked about this on the first episode. Well, the first pop-up episode, because even though this is episode 3, it's actually episode 1. But you know what? We're a smart guy and a doctor. We do what we want. There are a lot of people that they see what they want to see, and not in like a malicious way, but they think their animal has, the breeder has lace in it, and they hatch out a nicer looking baby. And because they want it to be lace, they see lace, and that's what they go with.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, what that does is it perpetuates this thing where, in actuality, it turns out it's not lace at all. It's actually some kind of enhancing gene, some kind of granite enhancing gene that is adding a little bit of brightness to animals. And that's what a lot of people have been breeding as lace, is what we're finding out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary.
Yeah. It's going to take it's going to have to wash out a lot, I think, because like other big breeders have sent me pictures of their adult lace clowns, and it's like, dude, that's lace. That's lace. What you're sending me a picture of is not anywhere near it. Like, when you see a real one and next to one that somebody thinks is one, it's clear as day. So I think that there's going to be a lot of cleaning. It's going to take a long time to clean up the lace project, honestly.
Chris, can you pull up Jason's comment real fast so I can address that? Thank you. Jason. So Jason says, what's the chance there's the same visual expression for two different mutations? So here's the deal. We did kind of think that initially, and we were like, maybe there's two lines, yada, yada, yada. The problem, and what makes us think there's not at this point, is when you look at the animals that are testing negative, there's no question they're negative. And this just comes from when you see adults. So the thing with lace, the worst it ever looks is as a baby. Right out of the egg is the worst that animal ever look. As they get older, they do get brighter, period. There's not like variance. There's not this one just didn't get brighter. Like, that's not what happens with lace. True lace. And we see that time and time and time again. And so then we get sent these pictures of these animals that are 500 plus grams, and they're darker than they were as babies sometimes. And they're like, no, but it's still a bright snake. And you're like, yeah, it is bright, but it's not lace. Like, there's no question about that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think at this point, based on everything that we've seen, that there are multiple lines of lace. I think there's one line. I do firmly believe that there is some kind of enhancer gene floating in lace, and that's causing some of the issues. I do believe that.
Or it's just floating around in general.
Yeah, for sure.
It could be in anything,
Yeah. You're right. Like, it's not fair to say
it's just like you could hatch two chocolate clowns in the same clutch, and the only thing they could possibly be is chocolate clowns, and one could look brighter than the other.
Yeah.
It's just something is changing inside to make that phenotype look a little bit different. But it's not lace.
It's not lace. And it's kind of humorous when Charlie would send me a picture, and I'm like, that's not lace. And he's like, are you sure? And then I would have, I would either have the animal or have a picture from another breeder that had an actual lace one. I'd be like, no, this is that combo as lace. And you're like, yeah, that's that is different.
Right.
So we've got
even white lace too. Like, by itself in a single form, homozygous form of lace with no other genes in it, I feel like it's pretty easy to see it. But when you do add other things in, even white lace as a baby, it's tough.
It's interesting. So you made a comment today. I'm gonna share some dirt here. People really like using popcorning as people love to say popcorn. Oh, it's got popcorning, it's lace. And I believe Charlie insinuated he might shoot himself if he hears that again. Here's the deal, guys. Popcorning is not a surefire idea for lace. As a matter of fact, I'd argue most of my lace stuff doesn't have it. It is a thing, and it does pop up occasionally, but yellow belly also causes a lot of popcorning in a lot of these animals.
Mm-hmm.
And
spot nose. You had like spot nose and yellow belly or something. Forget it. Like, you can't tell me, popcorning. All right, great.
So I think that's also kind of part of the problem is people maybe there's just a misunderstanding of what lace
That's what I was
actually
just going to
is.
say. I think we have to show pictures next time and
Yeah,
have combination
lace, not
with
lace.
and
Lace,
without.
not lace. Yeah,
And people are forgetting about the brightness portion of lace.
they
Like that's
are,
what
which
it
is
does.
interesting to me, right? Is that for me, that's the big selling point is
When I first
actually,
heard of it, that's what it was. It was Desert Ghost or better than Desert Ghost. And what do you think about Desert
yes.
Ghost? Brightness, keeps color,
Yeah,
looks clean.
yeah.
Like,
Contrast.
you don't think lace clown is going to be brown.
Yeah.
It's not what it's supposed to look like.
I like that idea. I'll have a couple of pictures because I right now, fortunately, I have some like and they're 200 to 300 grams, so they're decent size of like side by side comparisons of exact combo with and without lace, so y'all can
Yeah,
see to get a better idea for those who aren't as familiar with seeing like them side by side. But um, I think what you kind of touched on and Balls Deep made the joke as well, right? We learned a lot of people don't have lace, and this is going to be rough.
it's gonna be.
Um,
Yeah, it's gonna be.
yeah,
And even now, when
not
I'm
as
telling people
good.
it's not, I'm like, listen, I don't go freaking out on the breeder yet. One, because the breeder probably did nothing wrong,
Malicious, yeah.
right?
This
They
is this is I think what we're gonna be dealing with a lot of is ignorance versus maliciousness. I don't think we're in a situation where breeders, for the most part, were out there intentionally mis-IDing lace. I
no,
think
no,
I think they bought an animal that was sold to them as lace that wasn't lace, and they
right.
are IDing it correctly based on what they understand lace to be, right? These slightly brighter animals, and that's not in the popcorn
But
area.
yeah, I think we have to get. I don't know. I have one lace animal currently, and I think we have to get away from the whole popcorning side pattern thing and look at the brightness of the snake.
Yeah.
I think we lost that part of it, because so many of the snakes I've seen that people tell me are lace, I'm like, and then I'd send them a picture of my clown. I have a female clown that is just a clown,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful clown, just clown, adult breeder. I'm like, she is brighter than your lace,
Yeah.
and
And
I
that's
I couldn't sell this for more than $200. If it was a lace
yeah,
clown, it'd be a lot more. You know,
right.
I'm not paying a premium for a snake that doesn't look better than a normal clown.
No, I think this is also slightly though where like as ball python breeders, a lot of us have fallen into the like as long as it has the gene, it's good enough, right?
Right. Right.
And
And
that kind of also
that's probably
perpetuates
what
some of
started
this.
lace. That's probably what started the whole issues with lace.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's not like directly one to one, but like we saw a moderately similar thing, right? So black xanthic and TSKxanthic turns out the same thing. And when I first bought into TSKxanthic, years and years and years ago, I bought charcoal line. I think it's called dark phase or whatever. There's a million names for it at this point. And they were just as dark as black xanthics, and that's why I bred them. And then it turns out that it was black xanthic, and the reason black xanthics didn't stay nice is because people weren't selectively breeding for the black ones anymore. They were just buying black xanthics, and like you're talking about with lace, like
Yeah, that makes
what's
sense.
happened is they're just trying to get the gene in their collection and not making
Mm-hmm.
sure that it's actually really bright or what it should be in theory or what it started to be. So yeah, so we've got a couple more validation runs to do. And
Yeah.
when I say validation, I mean we've done hundreds of sheds at this point,
Yes. And
and
yeah.
it's at 100% hit rate now.
Yeah.
And at
And
this,
it's more me being super nervous
we no,
and and
we
because
have
of
to
the
be.
whole what's gonna happen as well. Like,
Oh, look, there's thousands of dollars on the line potentially, right? Because
right.
people are going to go back to breeders, and then even some of the breeders that I've spoken to, when we first went, when we first kind of found this out, kind of go back to them. We're like, hey, don't get scared yet. We're still validating, but there's a chance that the animal you've been breeding as a breeder lace is not lace.
Right.
And they're like, I hope that's not true because I've sold a ton of babies. And it's like, this is where you're going to kind of see a little bit of a spider web, and we're going to see what happens. Um, but
But
I,
that's why if we have the test
yeah,
and like that's the thing, this is not getting released unless and like we said, this is going to be the casual mutation. This is not going to be a 99.9% awesome marker. This is going to be dead. You know, I'm not for 1 second. If something comes up and it's like, all right, it called a regular lace, a homozygous lace, it's still 99.9. No, I'm
not. We're gonna call this lace F, G, and E actually, because we really want to complicate things.
Yeah.
No, Charlie, I think that's good, and I think the industry as a whole should appreciate the caution, because like we said a million times, like there's going to be some serious repercussions for people that are in lace.
And that's the crazy thing too, is I've asked a lot of breeders for sheds that I know are big into lace.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten them.
Yeah. So of course not. I mean, that's kind of like some of them just, don't take the time to send it, which
and some of them don't want the test.
Well, I was about to say, yeah, there's that aspect of they just don't want the test.
Right.
And that's their prerogative. That's fine. But the test needs to come out. It's an expensive enough mutation that it does make a big difference, and it's important. And I think, like you said, Charlie lost my shed. That checks out.
No, that shed is still in the U.S. Postal Service's hands somewhere. As like actually, I got one 3 weeks later, and the person was on the East Coast, not far, and it took 3 weeks to get the mail.
Crazy, dude. The post office is nuts, guys. Real fast, just a PSA. Send priority mail. It's $11 for a small flat rate box, and you can fit like 70 sheds in there. Yeah. So we can start there. And then if you really actually want to make sure it gets there in more than like 3 days, overnight it in a FedEx envelope. It's going to cost you like $50, guys. It's okay. I promise. As long as you're not doing 1 or 2 sheds, you're going to be okay. I promise.
Yeah, because I feel like as long as you just pay the extra to get tracking, but then priority is even better. But even if you just pay the extra few dollars to get the tracking on your regular one, I mean, yes, now you have to go into the post office or you have to do it online. You could do it through Redline shipping.
Who still uses stamps? No one uses stamps anymore.
A lot of people use stamps.
Oh my God, stop it. Yeah. Guys, we will spend tens of thousands of dollars on a snake, but we can't spend $11 to ship a box. Do better. Okay, I'm going to say it. I'm going to piss off someone, I'm sure, as I seem to do every episode. But do better, okay? We can afford it, I promise. We don't all have shedtesting.com money, but we're getting there, okay? Okay, we're getting there.
Speaking of shedtesting.com money, we're probably going to have to buy some new equipment again. I don't know what, but I have that on my list of things to talk about. Multiplexing and or higher throughput. This machine right next to me here is pretty expensive, and I'm kind of upset that I didn't spend an extra $5,000 right off the bat and go to the next model up, because
somebody had recommended that.
But this one does multiplexing, but just not enough. So, because I do get asked about panels every once in a while, and
see. Just print the label out at home and put it in your mailbox, or drop it in a mailbox somewhere. Or there's so many options, but just don't use stamps. Ugh.
But so and that's what this time was supposed to be for too. December, January was supposed to be time for Charlie to sit there and figure out what the hell he's going to do. But that's coming. We got to figure out. Patrick's got to give me some advice. And
Jason, I feel you there. I get it. You know what? I understand, Jason, but at least you'll get the kick in the balls much faster, which is important, right? We're looking for here. Loving it. No, we're gonna get things because you and I have talked about before. I personally have felt for a long time there is no actual season in ball python breeding. It's year round. I know people think there's a season. I just think because of the numbers, there's not. And you're seeing that now because shed testing doesn't slow down, and that's, in my mind, a good indicator that people are hatching year round.
Right. And another thing before we forget, so I can't talk too much about this, but sex testing. I don't really care too much about it for ball pythons, but We're very, 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 very close for sex testing for like all pythons.
Nice.
Like, so we're not looking for just like a marker to say, all right, this is probably a male ball python, but something that is actual. I don't even know how to explain it, but that's going to work for all pythons, green tree pythons, carpet pythons, retics,
Perfect.
whatever.
That'll be good.
And we also have something that we think is going to work for monitors and geckos. I just need monitor and gecko sheds of known males, known females, any type of monitors, any type of geckos.
Perfect. Okay. Guys, if you're listening or if you know anybody that has them, help us out. We'd appreciate it.
I mean, I have a tree monitor, and I don't think I've ever freaking seen the thing shed. I don't know. Unless it's
they eat their shed.
Yeah.
I think you can do colubrid testing's already a thing.
I have another laziness on my end. I literally could test sex for colubrids right now, and I don't want to offer it because I don't want to do it.
Time.
But once
what are Barron's racers? I'm a ball python breeder. I don't know snakes. I'm gonna Google that real fast. One moment.
I'm guessing they're like a very slim, slender snake.
Wow. Thanks for that. It is, in fact, a very slender snake with a interesting looking nose, kind of like a unicorn. Okay, interesting. Barron's green racers. That's cool. That feels relatively niche. I'm going to be honest. I don't know for sure if it is, and maybe I'm
but no, colubrid testing. That I've had that for probably almost a year now, and I just haven't offered it. But that's on the list to get on the new system too, because
I just saw the blue ones. Those are pretty. I like those. That's cool.
You should get
That's a cool snake.
You should start.
No, nope. I have 2 micro geckos, tortoises, and ball pythons, and some hog noses. I'm good.
You should breed the tortoises. You just keep them all, because nobody should have a tortoise that big unless they're willing to do what you do. And I don't know if anybody can see, but that's Patrick's dining room behind him. And yeah, those are tortoise pens. He no longer has a dining room.
Yeah, so we're remodeling the tortoise building, and I have roommates right now. They literally have taken over my house, and then they sleep in pens at night. Kill me now.
And they sleep in bed with you.
They do. They sleep in bed with my wife and I. It's great.
Yeah.
I really love it. All right, so we're easing up towards the end because Chris has a show right after us, guys, at 9 p.m. Eastern. Y'all should absolutely watch that, so stick around for that. Yeah, I think the important thing here is lace is probably going to be available in about 2 weeks. That's where we're at.
Again, I'm waiting for Jurgen and Heather to start to validate some. Hopefully they could do that soon, because that's the other thing that would make me feel a lot more comfortable if it works in 2 more countries. And
I agree with that. I think that's good. We can get it to work.
But again, the access to the sheds and the people to help ID them, no matter what somebody tells you it is, you can't, like, I feel bad asking people, hey, I need a picture. I don't care who you are. If you tell me it's a lace, I'm asking you for a picture of it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just,
and to make people feel better, it's not just me looking at the picture and being Charlie's oracle.
Right.
There's a cohort, there's a panel essentially. Yeah. And unless we all agree on the morph, we kind of throw it out. Right. So it's not just, just Patrick over here dictating lace or not lace.
Yeah, no, there's definitely multiple people helping.
Yeah,
I appreciate that person, those people, because I'm sure they're getting annoyed with me too. But it's, again, I don't think so, because people want it and want it to be right. So
I think that the gravity of the situation is cause for doing what we're doing, and I think it's good, and I think it's going to be eventually it's going to be very good for the industry. It's going to be a little painful over the next little bit.
The Charlie number 2 is going to be on tonight after this show.
Charlie number 2, I like it.
Actually, he's I'm Charlie number 2.
I don't think they're going to have any. Oh no, they're going to have Tyler from Tyler's Toxic Balls. He's the actual guy I'm going to tune in for the show. Not that
Oh,
other
nice.
person. Nobody cares about them, right? What do they even do?
You're going to Bob's show in February?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be at the show.
Me too.
I look forward to seeing everybody. I'm gonna be.
Is
I
Did
don't
I
know if
hear it
I'll
right?
be
Are
there.
all of the winners of 15 Minutes of Lame going to be there? I thought I heard
You
somebody
know
say
what? Let's
that.
start that rumor. Yeah, of
Charlie,
course.
did I hear that right? I
Yeah.
could have sworn I heard somebody say that they're all you guys are going to be there.
Yeah. No, let's just start that rumor.
Yeah, they're all going to
there.
be there
Everybody-
signing
Yeah, everybody
autographs.
show up. Yeah, of course.
You could wear the belt. Pictures,
Love it.
$5.
No, you got. It's like the Stanley Cup. You got to earn it to touch it. They won't even let me touch it.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not bitter. It's okay. All right. So, guys, the big news here is Lace is, in my mind, good to go. We need to do some final validations to really make Charlie feel better about it. But I
Yes.
think at this point, we're hundreds of tests in. No surprises whatsoever. And animals that people did send in saying that they were either lace or white lace were animals that 10 out of 10 people that saw them said no, they're not.
Yeah, see, they're all going to be there.
There it is. That's exciting. All right. That's
I
gonna be
wonder
really
if some
cool.
extra security, like when a bunch of like famous people get in one place. I think
There
there'll be
should be.
snipers and stuff, counters.
There needs to be a designated survivor. Maybe Shane doesn't show up. He was the first.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't let Shane show up.
Yeah,
And that way, if a bomb goes off, then we
he's
still
still there.
have,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
15 minutes delay.
You can't have like the VP and the president in the same place. You know.
No, you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
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 All right.
Back.
Is there anything else that they need to know right this second before we kill this? And
No, I mean, if anybody is sitting on, at this point, lace, white lace, please try to make sure it has somewhat of a lace look before we send it in. I guess even if it doesn't, I don't mind because we're
use it as negative.
Right. Just so if you think you have a lace shed and you want to know before I release it, and it's free, send it in. I'll test it. But try to do
everybody, start saving lace sheds if you want for testing once it's released. But go ahead and start saving. We're at the point now. We just need to make Charlie feel a little bit better. But
yes.
We're gonna see how this goes. But it's gonna be interesting. How long does a rerun take? 6 years minimum. No guarantees. And that's if Charlie doesn't lose your test. It's
gone. Rerun? Nope. Sorry.
I'll do
Send
that.
a new one.
He charges triple for those. So
Yeah.
All right. Guys. This has been the smart guy Charlie and Dr. Patrick. And you've been educated? Maybe? Hopefully. All right.
And next time we'll have pictures for lace, and hopefully maybe we'll even bring another guest on or something that wants to talk about it. We'll see.
Let's do it. I'd love to have him on.
Yeah, and we'll see if we could do that and figure it out. Get everybody on the same page.
I love it. Guys, follow Charlie on all of his social. Where's the best place for people to find you, Charlie?
Shedtesting.com, shed testing, everywhere else.
Cool. Guys, I'm Patrick, Aura Reptiles. Everywhere, please go give a like and subscribe. I need the validation. I thrive on it. And if I don't get it, much like Tinkerbell, I will die. So we love y'all. Watch Chris's show right after this, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Take care.